All right. So we got our round 5 is up. We are rearing to go. We have a killer match for y'all. We talked about earlier some players to look out for, and Bo. Q is too short. You are familiar with this caster. Took down the most recent digital app tournament deck that I've been itching to watch. And this caster has been in the lab with some crazy stuff recently. So it's going to be Bo against Aquadragon here.
What have they brought to the table here? What are they doing? It looks like Aquadragon going to be mulliganing. No, we're nectaring the gods. Okay, we just put the spirits in the center of the table. We're going to be drawing 2 to start our turn. Aquadragon going first. Drawing 2. Going to give themselves more options, setting some back row here. 2-hole back row. Water Elestral. It's going to be a Foamy in defense position. Foamy seeing a lot more play after the limitation of Earthquake and resting on your laurels. Passing on over to Bo.
What an interesting start here. I like Foamy as a good defensive option, and it's a pretty decent starter instead of a water package. We see Bo drop down a Nasty Rabbit. Very common first play for Elestrals. Getting the quick look off the top for 3 to gather more resources, potentially. But I am also now very much have piqued my interest on this Foamy build from Aquadragon. I mean, I guess it makes sense. Aquadragon, yeah. Am I shocked? I guess not. But Foamy is a card I haven't seen in quite some time. We talked about the Barabog list from yesterday. We did see that played. It looks like pass back to Aquadragon and expend to draw for turn.
The only real outs that Water would likely have here for this Astrap would be Eddie, and then if they are on a heavier water package, Moss Station would be another option. It looks like they're going to pass back to Bo, who's going to be playing an Earth card. I do not recognize that from this angle. Is that Sproutier? I think that's Sproutier.
It is Sproutier.
That's Sproutier.
Artifacts. Yes. It's the 3D art version that came out inside the Shattered Stars for Earth. You guys do not recognize this card on the board now. That is insane. So
I haven't looked at it in so long.
That is, I love Sprouter here. Sprouter is such a cool card because what it allows you to do is an Earthquake.
Earthquake out the gate.
The Earthquake and that's so much tempo. That's much tempo
devastating.
Gained. Doesn't even have to even use the Scythe to try to beat over this Foamy. Set 2, and swing for 2 damage.
Whoa.
Bo is now back in the driver's seat.
Incredible turn. Incredible turn from Bo.
It's one thing I love about Sprouter as a card in Elestrals. It's a Nexus Bank Searcher. It can buff itself up to a 5/7. I think is what it becomes with Scythe of Demeter, which is crazy. Either way, a Foamy drops on the board for Aquadragon.
Very interesting place. The Foamy likely going to try and crash with this Astrabbit, which killer move. Tsunami to swap your own Elestral defense position. That Foamy's bouncing off of the butt of the Astrabbit, and nothing's happening here.
Yeah, and what I love about this play too is that Sprouter having the 5 defense is also pretty hard to get over. You get into with a little bit of chip damage, and then you can safely return it back to defense. And there's that Echolinks coming down, Scythe meters incoming.
You've spoken to existence.
Yeah, we literally gotta stop doing that.
You
Caster's
gotta stop
Curse.
Doing this, man. Or Caster's Blessing here, I guess.
Someone run the card. The new card alert. Caster's Blessing. Next thing onto the Sprouter here to target one of the back row. Those 2 back row have been sitting pretty for a couple turns.
Yeah, Gorgon's Gaze onto the Sprouter potentially doesn't feel too bad. Prevent that 3 damage from coming through. It doesn't feel good though, because the Sprouter then's not swinging, which means that you're losing out on interaction on it. So the Gorgon's Gaze will just get let go. That Sprouter will go to attack position here. Foamy could float into a Galaxy Misenchanted, a Moss Station. There's lots of options that could be in Aquadragon's deck here, depending on what exactly they're on. We've only seen Foamies from them. We do not know what search targets they're on here.
Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities for the Foamy.
Oh, hold on. Lunar just hit the board.
Uh-oh.
Aquadragon just expended a Lunar.
Oh, they're just taking 2 damage.
But yeah, from the Sprouter hitting over the Foamy, they took 2.
And then going into an Eddy.
And then they're going into Eddy. Eddy will cast in defense position. And then
change itself.
Swap itself, which puts Bo in a position here where maybe they could Gorgon's Gaze if they really want to, or they could attempt to crash, which is what they're going to go for here. They're going to attempt to crash. They're crashing. They're attempting to crash Equilix, then they're casting Argo.
Argo!
They're Argoing to the deck to search for an artifact.
And Scythe of Demeter coming down for artifact enchant, getting a nice heal too.
Incredible play.
I love this use of Argo specifically. So I know Argo is kind of used as a defensive card to help trip up your opponent on attacking your Elestrals, but aggressive Argo here is perfect in the situation where, maybe Aquadragon would have wanted to bring out a Foamy another Foamy, if that's the case, or another defensive body to maybe potentially, I don't know, to play around a little bit more of these attacks, but pass back to Aquadragon. This board is pretty built, and this Equilink's about to get mad value.
It also could be, if they're on a Draking build, it's likely that they're not running a full 3 Foamy. They might only be on 2, which is why they didn't go for a second one there, which likely should have been the play otherwise.
Got an Ambrosia for Aquadragon. Back into the game, I find this so interesting, and looking at the spirit differential here, it's really not that big of a difference, but I think the tempo in Bo's favor here will allow them to keep up the pressure, given there's not a Leshrac that comes down.
Lunar Water for Rock in a Hard Place here. We'll see what targets Aquadragon selects here. Likely something like Equilinks and... Oh, it looks like Astrabbit in the set card. And it looks like Astrabbit will be the one to go here. A fairly easy decision to make most of the time if we were choosing between Astrabbit and a live back row. And a Water Necruff going to be hitting the board.
Interesting. I like the idea here, so that maybe signals a small Tuga in the deck for this search engine. I think if Bo can keep on the pressure here with a counter rune as a defensive measure, and it's an Altar Stars.
Altar is killer here.
Altar Stars on the Equilinks, keeping these Earth Spirits alive for this Equilinks to target and destroy that last back row. This puppy is a 1 defense booty. It's not long for this Earth.
Yeah, that Sprouter's looking mean against that Necruff right now at 3 attack.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the little Sprouter that could. It stuck around the entire game. We were talking about that with Moss Station a couple games ago, or last game. It's been a little bit.
A killer Equilinks activation to pop the poison-tipped arrow, and it looks... Is that a Lumaru?
What is that? What is that?
That's a Shatterstars Lumaru right there, I believe.
Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. Trish.
Are we milling? Is it properly enchanted? It's properly enchanted. We're milling 3, baby!
That's not a water rune. I'm so familiar with that. I don't think I've seen this.
That was an
Ambro.
Tracking!
You called it exactly right. That was exactly the deck that on, and that is killer. Both those cards and the Ambro all comeback cards inside of this game. That mill was crucial.
That was absurd. As a Draking player myself, I can sniff it out. I know when it's coming.
Wow, that is absolutely crazy. Down to 5 spirits here for Aquadragon, 1 counter rune in back for Bo, and an open board for Aquadragon.
Bo has just taken such a powerful position with some very strong Elestrals on their board right now, and this has got to feel horrifying to play into for Aquadragon here.
Yep,
and Ambrosia, just to try and stop the bleeding a little bit, just try and stabilize in some capacity, go back up to 7 spirits and spirit deck to Bo's 10 plus 4 on field. This is just have to feel almost insurmountable for Aquadragon right now.
Absolutely. Well, we kind of showcasing too, this is just game 1 and we're already off to an electrifying start. And the Earthquake's a good one though. That'll help a little bit. Take out an Elestral here. I was trying to think of the combination of cards Aquadragon could have to dismantle this board and mount a comeback. And it would have to be like Earthquake, Lavalith,
Astrabbit.
Ooh, okay. I think this is a start. I don't hate this unless this is a specific PTA in the background. Bo's reaching for the back row, and it's a Gorgon's Gaze.
Very heads up play, actually. Very heads up.
Amazing. Yeah, you don't want your opponent there to gain that advantage, even if they only have the 1 card. And you're like, oh, what's the worst that can happen? Listen, I've said that a million times on these Astrabbits.
If they Sprout here, that's it. Okay, that's it. That's all they needed. Sprout here is going to go ahead and search out an artifact, and the artifact will let any of these Elestrals hit over that Astrabbit. Any of them will do it.
See it.
Harmonia. Oh, Harmonia.
Yep. That'll put it down.
Bo is putting their opponent on a clock by clearing out this Astrabbit and leaving them on 1 card in hand. So,
yeah, absolutely. Oh, Ambrosia comes down too. That's going to help really good with these artifacts.
Killer.
Holding on to that Ambrosia for just the right time. This is definitely it. I think this is walking in this game. I think for Bo, not to call it too early, but this is again staring down 3 Elestrals like this with a defensive Astrabbit about to get got by this Necklace of Harmonia on the Lumaru. I can imagine to help mill cards from the deck. Showcasing why Sprouter is a little bit of a sleeper. I think Sprouter is one of these cards from base set that I think people for a long time were like, it's just okay. But a 3/5 body that can not only boost itself but also partner really, really well with strategies like this, showcasing why it's one of the top spots right now. And Bo using that to win the last tournament.
Yeah, an absolutely incredible turn from Bo here, clearing out Aquadragon's board of a single Astrabbit, 2 cards in hand, 2 cards in spirit deck. what can Aquadragon do into such a formidable board from Bo? It seems like not much, and it looks like they're going to scoop up their cards from there, and they'll go on to game 2. It looks like we are here in game 2 of round 5. Assuming Aquadragon to be going first as Bo sets their hand on the table. Aquadragon go ahead and set 2-3 cards face down and expend to draw, it looks like, yes. And pass it back on over to Bo.
Sometimes we talk about the starting turns and not mulliganing because you have something like Nectar of the Gods or because you have, expend to draw once. And so that hand might be pretty powerful, but might not wanting to go too aggro early until it moves out. Bo going for an Ash Rabbit here on the board to, once again, very familiar to last game, set up some resources here and grab whatever is necessary to take out game 2. But with 3 back row from Aquadragon's side, I think that's going to be quite difficult to come to surmount with from Bo. See how Aquadragon's turn goes and see how it goes.
Yeah, the thing for Draking, it looks like we're going to go ahead and be special casting a Gloombat here. Bo playing into it by setting 2 face down. That's pretty critical. This could be a Draking here.
Gloombat jump scare. I have not seen this card in a very long time. Looks like it's a disenchant to target to destroy a rune. Gorgon's Gaze.
Oh,
that's huge.
Incredible. That's so good.
Great value without wasting the normal cast there for the Gloombat. I like the inclusion of the Gloombat too because it's a card that I think is very underscored. And a Thunderstorm.
Thunderstorm on the back
row.
Wow.
Crazy.
Is that Shield of Achilles or is that second Gorgon's Gaze?
It looks like the Shield of Achilles never resolved.
Never
and
resolved.
then the Eddy. Water, when it gets going, it gets going. When the going gets wet, the wet gets going. Absolutely crazy here.
So, Aquadragon really does not mind going that way. Bo, expending to draw potentially? Looks like it. Wow. That's a pretty killer turn from Aquadragon there to put Bo down so many cards and leave themselves with 3 sets and an Eddy.
Or you can take it slow by going for an expend to draw. Also a very viable option. Looks like we're going to go for a Jotagwa. Also
attack position.
I love Jotagwa. Jotagwa. Go for a Jotagwa here. It's, we talked about Thunder previously in these sorts of board states, allowing to put on extra pressure by burning with something like Epoxyon. However, I love Jotagwa here because it's allowing you to take back resources and still put on that pressure to your opponent because now you have extra spirits from more cards. This position looks very commanding.
Oh, so resting on your laurels, hard to see through. It looks like Bo's having some technical issues with their camera getting a little blurred, but that's a resting, which is going to take out that Jotagwa, preventing it from healing further on a later turn. And that, I think, is a Calf Mel in attack position. Defense position. There we go. Attack position, very confusing. We've made it back. That is indeed Calf Mel. A really solid option here to be able to heal a ton for Bo. And if this sticks around, which there's no background to protect it, but if it somehow sticks around, that is massive for going into a Lustragon potentially if Bo is running that list from the prior event. Aquadragon playing out that Ashram defense position, just gain advantage. Bo's playing slow. Aquadragon doesn't mind to go ahead and sculpt that hand out.
Kaufmel is such an interesting card that I think we'll see a lot more play later as people experiment more with alternative ways to heal inside of decks like Pharaohgeist even, or the Ascension targets for things like Lustragon. Effectively wards off an Eddy, and it's no slouch. But we have an Equilinx coming down instead of an Ascension for the defense here as well. But Equilinx plus a target for that Nexus fodder will be really nice to help break apart the board. Pretty decent here. I do like the Harmonia.
That's massive.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what this is going to convert into. Again, this is not the most advantageous position for Bo, with potentially no counter runes, and with 3 going on, a Gorgon's Gaze is going to be flipped up by Aquadragon.
That's brutal, actually. That's going to force Bo to expend in the end phase here, something that they likely do not want to have to do. Can't attack with what it's equipped to either. Likely, it's motivation to put it on the Calf Mel here, potentially. Calf Mel getting the Scythe of Demeter!
I love the attack mode Calf Mel. Attack Mel?
Attack mode?
We're getting a little too out of hand here. The attack Camel will be met with a Tsunami to put both these into defense, which is kind of where Bo wants to be in the first place. But again, a lot of spirits on board here. Got to be careful of some of those power player cards instead of Aquadragon's hand. But that was almost scary for a little while.
Bo is going to have to expend 2 spirits down to 7 in Spirit deck at the end of their turn there. unable to do anything with the Necklace of Harmonia, unfortunately. Still forced to burn, though. And Aquadragon is picking up their cards, picking up Eddie. Is it tracking? It's tracking!
Tracking!
Oh my goodness.
The king comes down. Draking is so cool here, I think, because like we were talking about the attack boosting of a lot of these artifacts, but something like the Necklace of Harmonia is not boosting up this defense. So Equilinks gets stolen from Bo and put onto Aquadragon's board here. That's what we have with the sleeve and the token up top. Is Equilinks getting taken by Draking, enchanted with the Water Spirit, and now a full board from Aquadragon and just a Kaufmel, which is still pretty beefy. I think this thing is a 7 defense. Can this Kaufmel do it? Is it the lowest Kaufmel that could, or we got to see a game 3?
The 5/7 Kaufmel is absolutely gigantic for a little camel that could. Bo gonna go ahead and set a face down and then play out a Water Lumaru.
That's the Lumaru I know. I've never seen properly enchanted Lumaru except for last game. This is, as the Lumaru does not care if it's properly enchanted or not. It's just a nice solid body. Things are starting to get a little bit sketchy. See, now the Spirit differential is also not really that big, so maybe Bo is trying to play patient here. Strike.
Bo very well could have a massive turn here with the Shield of Achilles to get that Draking back in the hand. The question is, Aquadragon, we know, has been running some back row removal. They've ripped a bunch of chucking a Lunar Spirit on the board. Unsure what that's for. It looks like it's for a cast of a Gloombat. A normal cast to potentially threaten out this back row. Massive if this is a Shield of Achilles. It never resolves. It has to be a Gorgon's Gaze. If it's Shield of Achilles or PTA, there's an Altar of Stars.
Ooh,
interesting.
Wow. I like the Altar of Stars here. Again, this deck does very well with oftentimes dealing with the artifacts as extra Nexus banks for things. And I think the idea to go on the Lumaru onto the Kaufmel is smart. At least for the moment, you don't really have a lot of resources to go onto, and you do not want Draking to continuously be putting pressure. So, Draking to defense.
And then it goes right back to attack.
Yeah, there you go.
Unsure if it's really going to be the defining difference here. Aquadragon has... Okay, Aquadragon swings into a 7 defense...
Maybe not realizing.
7 defense Kaufmel. It's a 6/5/7.
Argo Draking goes hard here.
That would be absurd.
Maybe not knowing that Scythe the Meter is not 2/2 and instead it's 2/3.
Pass, okay.
Okay, there we go. I was about to say, that would have been a little scary, and this Kaufmel is hanging on for dear life, shivering with fear against the king.
Expend to draw from Bo. Is dire straits here.
That's kind of what I'm seeing from Bo's side here. And Ambrosia, there's one that kind of gets more resources on the board, making the Spirit differential.
Wonderful use of that Spirit that was Nexus off of the Lumaru to make sure that we're generating as much advantage off of our board as possible. The Spirits we've already used. They have an Earthquake potentially. Double Earth and a Solar. It indicates they might have an Earthquake. This could be a massive turn from Bo potentially. If an Earthquake comes down, the little Kaufmel that can swing over Astrabbit and heal 1. Looks like they're just going to be passing though. No runes to be set. No Earthquakes to be used. Ascension comes out over the Astrabbit. Water under it.
Yeah!
This will do it!
That is Misenchant Kerbis just for the stats. That is going to help Bo heal a little bit, but take 2 from this Draking. I think you're very much okay with that if you're Aquadragon, because you're now firmly in the driver's seat with 2 large Elestrals and 2 back row. Arcolith incoming from Bo, surely.
Yeah, certainly. Bo doesn't mind too much because they heal spirits back off of the Kaufmel and then immediately expend them back. So actually going positive 1 spirit in the interaction. The issue is they are going to scoop from here, it looks like, because there's nothing they can do into 2/2 drops on the board. And that's exactly what Draking wants to do. They want to take control of the board quickly, see what we've got in our opening hands, assuming Bo will be going first here. Is the hand better than a 7? Is it better than a 7? We got to know. Oh, looks like it's not better than a 7. No, it is. We're expecting to draw. Setting 1 and passing. Oh, okay. We're playing on Gloombat at least.
Setting 1 early, I think, is just enough. Eventually, you might have to set more than 1. I think that's kind of the thing with the Gloombat side of things, that you can play slow all you want, but allowing water to accrue resources is also pretty dangerous.
Well, in this case, it looks like we're finally going to pass here. Ekalink's Demeter could be an absolutely killer start to this game, put on an insane amount of pressure. Expending to draw yet again will not be the first to break the peace treaty that has gone on between these two players, apparently. As they will pass back to Aquadragon.
Starting to get scary. I think that one expended draw, okay, you can maybe say it's a strategic advantage. Second expended draw, what are you searching for? It better be pretty good because the first person to act here is gonna set the pace, and Aquadragon's gonna decide to go for him a Spectaris here. They're a pretty decent option. And it's Drakkid.
Oh, Drakkid. Will we see the misenchanted Rock and a Hard Play? No, we're just gonna punch for one.
I think this is very much a good play here, right? Because Drakkid being backed up by one counter rune, potentially, it can survive for a turn.
Certainly looks like they have some runes in hand, such as a Golden Fleece. Heliolith.
Please.
Heliolith might be coming. It's a
right.
Heliolith! Non-targeting bounce to hand! An incredible play here from Bo.
All right.
Using the effect of Heliolith. If an artifact rune is on field, it can be normal cast with 2 solar. And it looks like it will resolve. And the Drakkid is bounced to hand.
Love that play. It's crazy. I remember playing Bo in a previous tournament. Setting 4, by the way, is crazy. Saying I'm not afraid of Gloombat. Gloombat me. What? Go ahead. I was playing Bo in a previous tournament, and they dropped Heliolith in a play very similar to that. I think this was just... I completely forgot that this Lith was available for a strategy like this.
At this point, I imagine Bo has some bluff sets back there. Rock in a Hard Place potentially might be coming out. I believe that's a Water Spirit under... Oh, no, we're just accidentally picked out too many. We're going for a Gloombat special cast here. The question is, will we be doing anything with that? Second Gloombat from hand!
Caleb, a second Gloombat has hit the board. I cannot believe it. Okay, so here's the crazy part, right? Pharaoh guys, odds.
Odds of Pharaoh guys. Okay, no, you got me scared when the Gloombat went to the side. No, we got Drakkid coming onto the board now. And this is where potentially Bo would have to respond. Otherwise, this Lith is going to their opponent's board and swinging for 2 damage.
A tip would really suck. Now Gloombat's gonna be able to disenchant, take apart 1. Another counter rune's gonna be taken up here by this tracking, so it's gonna be kind of costly. A Altar Stars gets taken.
I don't think you feel too bad about that. Altar is a very good rune, but I don't think it's super high value in this current game state. And with Thunderstorm.
There's Thunderstorm again.
This board is getting picked apart.
Gorgon's
Gaze.
Okay, let's see what Bo has. 2 left. Second Thunderstorm coming down would be insane.
That would be brutal.
2 Gloombat, 2
Thunderstorms.
Attack?
One of these has to be Shield of Achilles.
It is.
There it is. There's the Shield of Achilles. Bo bled it in their hand earlier in the game, and it makes its way out.
Wow.
And now Aquadragon in a very bad spot. This is devastating.
This game is looking pretty good. What we got coming down here is that a
Cybermole.
Let's go.
We have a Golden Fleece in deck. We cast one from hand earlier to get the Heliolith out, but we have a second one in hand, which will let us use our Underworld and recur some resources here. Absolutely massive, getting some Luminates back on the board, and this is swinging for 3 damage here. This is pretty critical for Bo to restabilize here. Bo themselves at 7 spirits. Aquadragon gonna go down to 9, and things have equalized quite well. And Aquadragon, 2 Gloombats out of hand. How are they quick ascending into a Drakkid? Do we really want to take out the back row that much? Do we have a high value enough Elestral in hand that can out a Cybermole reasonably? We're expecting to draw.
Ooh, you better hope that hand is full of Ambrosians, because a pass back.
Oh,
dangerous.
This could be it.
To get aggro play here.
This could be it.
Expecting to draw.
Expecting to draw.
Very smart from Bo here. You don't want to really extend too much if you don't have to. But
playing
even then,
Gloombat.
Now playing into the Gloombat. That is absolutely great. Not impossible here. I will say that's not possible going up for the Drakkid, but
that actually might end up biting Bo in this next turn here. If there is that third legendary Gloombat plus the Drakkid, is it going to be the thing to change everything? Boom Bat, this changes everything.
From the gloom to the boom, try and take out.
And the Gorgon's
There is
Gate
the Gorgon's
will
Gate.
likely seal this game here.
Bat flying into the air, stone dropping down to the ground. This is
Sad.
is very sad. Honestly, this is the exact position that I think Bo wants to be in.
Yeah, it really was just a game of who could stick an Elestral the longest, and Bo was able to keep this Heliolisk alive and on board, and had lots of ways of making sure that shield would connect. Looks like that set card the entire time has been an Ambrosia Heliolisk!
What is
It's
this
over.
game?
That's the game. Aquadragon extends the handshake, Bo receives it.
The previous champion moves on with a 4-1 record, taking it 2-1 in this game 3.